It's funny how this lighting somehow makes the car look really good when in reality it's covered in pollen. Like, look how bad this is. And it's like the whole car. Anyways, in my last video I was saying how nothing yet has been done to the car, when in reality, when I posted that, a lot of things were already done. The whole process of kind of putting things together, I've been filming it a little bit. So this video is gonna be kind of like a parts update, how all of that was going, and I'll kind of go over what it looks like now. Currently, in the next week or so, it's gonna be going in for a wrap, so I'll probably post this while it's being wrapped, and then by the time it's out, the car will probably already be wrapped and I'll film a wrap reveal video. So I'll start with the fused fabrication inserts. These just came in. You've got all the hardware you need, preparation, alcohol pads. There's also a whole instruction manual that kind of tells you exactly what to do and comes with these spacers to position them. Pretty much a full how-to guide, how to use the hardware, where to position it. Yeah, everything is there. Really happy with these, and hopefully I can get them on soon. I plan on painting them hopefully at some point this weekend. Really hard to show this in this garage, but this is basically the fitment of where it's supposed to go. Luckily I was able to find some old touch-up paint from when I did my eyelids. Hopefully this is enough in here to paint these two. You can see the brand here, Robert's Paint Care. This stuff was great. It was a really good match when I did the eyelids. So yeah, that's great for those. And here's where it's not great. I didn't sand it very well, just thinking that I could use high build primer, white high build primer at that. So here's me going back with gray primer, realizing that I messed up with the white. So here are the inserts that I was working on, finally on the car. It might not, I don't know if you can see really the curves from the camera with the black. Sometimes, like in person, you can see it a lot easier. On camera and in pictures, it kind of drowns it out, but once it's wrapped, you'll kind of be able to see that a lot better. So yeah, I did have some issues with painting. I do want to say that when you're working on these, definitely make sure you sand them really well. I made a huge mistake of thinking I could sand them a little bit and use high build primer and it'll work, but no. So make sure you sand those down. Alright, so this is my replacement sunroof panel. This was great. I was working on this for 2 years just because it took forever to sand all the surface rust off of this. And also I got lazy and thought I had time to not have to work on that. And then mine failed, so now this is done and this is going in next week. Not sure if some of these parts will need to be replaced with my old one because they seem kind of sketchy. And also this seal back here. So while I was sanding this, I did nick this a couple times and it's actually ripped a little bit over here, so I'll have to figure that out. I wasn't sure if I should take this off just because the adhesive on it doesn't look very easy to replicate. I'll show you why. So this is a new one. This came from the dealer and it came like this, scrunched up the wrong way, sitting for who knows how long, just kind of kinked like that. I'm still gonna keep it because this was really expensive for what it is. This was like $40, $50. I'm just gonna hang on to it. Maybe it's not that serious that this is kinked, but for now, I think it's better off I keep this one. The adhesive that it comes with, it's like Scotch tape. It's so not strong that I don't understand how this is supposed to curve like that. When you start to bend this, it kind of like warps around, you know? Like it doesn't stay as smooth as it does here. So I don't know how they did that, and I don't want to try. And then this is the main seal for the sunroof. This came in the mail, also warped. Luckily, this is a lot more pliable that I think it shouldn't be a problem. I've been trying to straighten this out and make it all even with a bunch of books. Better than it was. It's still really annoying. And yeah, the paint job, it's not as good as it can be. This is the part that you actually see. They try to cover as much of the part that I have currently rusted. Like all this up to here is rusted on mine. So I tried to get all of that covered, and I did use Rust-Oleum, primered over it, and then did a gloss black, and this is finally cured. And it's a junkyard sunroof, so it is gonna have like some grossness to it that I have to kind of work on still, but this is pretty much done, thank God, and hopefully I can get that on this week and then don't have to deal with leaks anymore. So this is the new seal that's on the sunroof, and The thing is, it looks like it fits really well. The one problem that I forgot is if you're gonna replace the seal, I would make sure you put adhesive on it, because you see it kind of can shift, and it's only the sides that can shift. The front, for some reason, doesn't really do it. It's like there's extra space in between it. Yeah, adhesive would have been good for that. I might redo it. It's just that this is such a pain to take off, especially when it's on the car. The other problem is the seating of it. So I'll show you that in a second once I close it. So yeah, especially when it's hot, it's kind of, it sits weird. You have to push it down. And this is my really bad side. I think it's shifted more to this end. It almost pushes the seal up. So the problem is the replacement seal they give you is completely different from the one that was actually on the car. Even if you look at it, it even looks slightly different. It's just thicker and it's wider. That's why it kind of sticks up in certain spots and it's really hard to get the seating right. I don't know why they made it so different. Even like the material, the OEM one, or not the OEM, the one that comes with the car, has felt around these edges, I guess, to help it sit properly. Well, this is just rubber, so that's why it gets caught. Also, just the fact that it's thicker than what it's supposed to be, it makes it even worse. So seating the sunroof is kind of a lot harder than it would have been if it was the seal that actually came with the cars. I do have another seal for my other junked sunroof, so I might have to replace it with that one. Okay, so in here we have the skirts. These are polyurethane. They're for a Mustang. I can post which Mustang it's for, what year it's from, but so far it looked like lengthwise they were good. They just need like, I think 4 inches cut off. I like these because they're a 1-piece. The 3-piece, I just don't like how that was working. It's just the joints of them like bend and warp together, so I feel like it's way better to get a 1-piece if you're gonna get side skirts. We'll see how these go. These have to be sanded really good and then painted, chopped up, and fitted. I think they're not as wide as the ones I have on now, so I think it is gonna do exactly what I want it to do, which is have the same look, except not stick out as much as it did. Little lip that it has, it's pretty thin, but it angles up a bit, so I feel like it's still gonna have kind of a little bit of a thicker look and not like a tiny little piece of plastic, which is what I was going for. So yeah, now my next thing is just preparing the car for a wrap, making sure it's clean. I have to clean out my door jambs and kind of every undersurface to make sure that there's kind of less work for them to do cleaning the car. Definitely gonna clay bar the whole bumper. It probably won't show up on camera very well, but once you get really close to the paint, you can see how kind of gunked up it is, and it's gunk that will not come off with a regular wash. You need to really like work. And at the same time this is being wrapped, I'm going to be working on the new skirts, painting those, prepping those for the car. Once I get it back, then I'm going to install those skirts. So I'll be removing these in another weekend or so. Oh yeah, I'm also working on a replacement handle. I'm trying to wrap it instead of paint it, just in case this needs to be replaced. While they're wrapping the car, I asked them to take a look at it and see if that thread is actually out. Then it can just be glued and this handle can be saved. Otherwise, I have a replacement one. The reason I'm wrapping it instead of painting it is because it's actually really annoying, or at least it looks really annoying to take these apart. There's so many springs, little pieces. I'm way too lazy to be doing that, so I'm just gonna take the long, difficult route and just wrap over top of it. It's gonna be really hard. I'm thinking I can do a couple overlays. It'll still probably not look that great, but way better than taking it apart. Not into that. So that's everything for my updates on the parts for this car so far. The next video, I'll be showing the wrap and how everything turned out.